Hello beautiful people and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Shakayla. I create and share delicious plant-based recipes. If you're returning, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you coming back, you watching these videos, you giving them a thumbs up, you leaving me comments, and subscribing to my channel. This week's video is, I'm sharing some of my best of the best, my go-to meals that I typically make for dinner. I don't record every single meal that I eat, and part of that is because when I find a recipe or a meal that is just amazing and I just want to eat it all the time, I do that. So a lot of these meals are meals that I've shared previously, but I tend to go back to cook when I don't feel like coming up with something new, or I just want what I know is gonna taste amazing. So that's what these meals are, just my favorite go-to dinner ideas. They're delicious, they have so much flavor. Some are quick and easy, some are a little, require a few more steps, but they are all worth it. So if you're looking for more plant-based dinner ideas to try out this week, or just to add to your menu for the future, these are meals that you have got to make. I'm telling you, you will love them. I love them. Have I steered you wrong yet? Exactly. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so the very first recipe is the orange, it's like orange chicken, but I use pumfu. If you are not familiar with pumfu, it is tofu made from pumpkin seeds. Listen, there is, I would probably say 5 things you can count on from me in this video, but also on my channel. I'm gonna cook with tofu, I'm gonna cook with mushrooms, I'm gonna cook with chickpeas, I'm gonna dance, and I'm like, oh my gosh, y'all, this smells and tastes so good. Like, you can count on that from a video. So this very first recipe is an orange, kind of like my take on vegan orange chicken, but using pumfu. Has, I wanna say it might be a similar amount of protein. So if you are interested in, having meat substitutes or items in your meals that have a good amount of protein, pumfu is definitely one. I'm an advocate for tofu as well, so it just depends on your preference. The one thing that I would say as far as like the difference between the two, so the pumfu does have a different texture. It's a bit more grainy than regular tofu. So if you can get past that, which I could, if you can get past that, then I think you would be good with pumfu. But I made my own like orange sauce for the orange chicken, and it was bomb. It was so good. I don't know what it was. Something to me was like, let's try to make orange chicken. But of course we don't cook chicken over here. So I was gonna use tofu, and I decided to make some orange tofu this night, and it was absolutely delicious. It was very interesting because when I went to the grocery store a while ago, I saw this pumfu, which is tofu essentially made out of pumpkin seeds, has no soy, 17 grams of protein per serving. Listen, I was sold. I've seen this on Instagram quite a bit, and the color always threw me off a little bit, but I was like, okay, like, let's just try it. It doesn't hurt. I thought it was very interesting, the texture, the color. But once I cooked it up, I cooked it similar to how I cook all my other tofu. It was actually really good. I was very surprised because I just couldn't imagine eating pumpkin seed tofu, but this passed the taste test. I will say that after a while of maybe like when I had to reheat it the next day, it didn't have the same consistency. It was kind of grainy a little bit. So in my opinion, I would say that this is really good to eat like once you cook it immediately versus going back and warming it up. So I did the usual where I coated in olive oil, some liquid aminos, salt, pepper, cornstarch, and then I'm baking them in the oven for about 30 minutes. I think I put it on, 30 minutes on 400 degrees. Now I'm making the orange sauce glaze, whatever you want to call it. It was really good. This was my first time making it, so instead of creating my own recipe, I kind of loosely followed a recipe that I found online. I'll link that in the description box, so if you want to give it a try, you definitely can. But overall, it was really delicious. And it just called for garlic. I had to add in some ginger, as well as some sesame oil, soy sauce, rice vinegar, some black pepper, and then of course oranges. So I had to zest the orange and then add in the orange juice. Oh yeah, and I also added in some water, some agave to sweeten it, and some cornstarch. I did have to go back in and add some additional water to kind of thin it out because it got too thick from the cornstarch. And then I also added in some more sweetener, but I added in some brown sugar instead of the agave, which you saw me put in before. Alright, so I told y'all you can definitely count on me sharing a chickpea recipe in my videos. This recipe that's coming up, it is a Mediterranean veggie bowl, but I'm using chickpeas as my protein source, and it was so good. I love making these. I feel like I've shared them quite a bit on my channel. I just cooked up my chickpeas, added some, well, y'all will see everything that I put in the bowl, but it's so good. Like between the vegan feta and then the sweet and tanginess from the peppers, make it, okay? Make it. I just use canned chickpeas. I drain them, I rinse them, and then I season them up with some salt, pepper. Also use some oregano, some garlic powder, and smoked paprika. And if you've seen my previous videos, I always like to cook my chickpeas. If I'm cooking them on the stove, I like to add in a little bit of vegetable broth so that they're not super dry. Alright, I'm like scratching my head over here because I really eat a lot of meals in bowls. Like, are bowls the new plates? Like, do you guys also enjoy just about every meal from a bowl? I know it can't just be me. right, and this next clip is my loaded sweet potato. Oh my gosh, y'all, it is so good. It's so good because I've cooked these type of mushrooms on my channel before, but it's kind of like the bacon mushrooms, but it's just crispy mushrooms with like a really good marinade, and I put it on top of the sweet potato with some vegetables, and then I made my own vegan ranch. Baby, that sweet potato is good, okay? It's good. It's really easy to make. I won't say it's quick because you do have to roast the sweet potato, but it is so worth it. It is so worth it. All right, so as you can see, poked a bunch of little holes in the sweet potato. And so I am going to bake this. I'm baking it on 400 degrees for about 45 minutes. Now y'all know I've been loving these. I'm actually about to make the mushroom bacon marinade in here. It's about a tablespoon of olive oil. So I'm gonna use some agave. Then about a tablespoon of agave. Adding in some coconut aminos. I said that's about 2 tablespoons. Normally I would use about 1 teaspoon liquid smoke, but I am all out. This is the liquid smoke that I use. A half a teaspoon of smoked paprika. Now I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of garlic powder. There we go. And then I'm gonna add in some nutritional yeast. I'm probably gonna do 2 teaspoons. Now some black pepper and some salt. So I am gonna add just a little bit of olive oil, not too much because we put a good amount in the marinade. I'm so excited because I have not had a loaded baked potato in y'all, I don't know how long. Y'all, look at this. It looks so good. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So this next one is loaded bell peppers. I actually made this for lunch, but because it was so good, I have been making it for dinner as well. The really cool thing about this clip slash recipe is that I make my own meat substitute. So instead of using like a plant-based ground that I bought from the grocery store, I just put some items together to make my own mock ground meat, and it was really, really delicious. And if you've been here for a while, you know that your girl is a huge fan of pickled onions. I topped my peppers with some pickled onions. It was off the chain. This is my attempt to make like a vegan meat, just like something meaty to go inside of the peppers. when I said you can count on my channel for 5 things, it should have actually been 6. And the 6th one should have been that your girl is gonna cook some pasta. And so this next dish, I'm back with the mushrooms, but I'm making kind of like a vegan Parmesan creamy pasta with crispy mushrooms. If y'all haven't noticed by now, I love talking with my hands. Like, that's the 7th thing you can get from my channel. I'm going to use my hands. But this pasta, it's so good, so quick, so easy, and it's amazing. So this day I was really feeling like a vegan Parmesan pasta with mushroom bacon, and oh my gosh, it did not disappoint. This pasta was very easy to make. It does call for several ingredients, but it's not like overly complicated or even ingredients that you may not have at home. So I made like mushroom bacon using some shiitake mushrooms, and I guess we could also just call it crispy mushrooms because it's just mushrooms coated in seasoning and flavor and baked until it's crispy. And then for the pasta, very easy. It was shallots, garlic. I used some, what else did I use? Yeah, it was just shallots, garlic. I added some miso paste in there, some pasta water, as well as some vegan Parmesan and lemon juice. Chef's kiss, chef's kiss. Okay, so our mushrooms are almost done. They need to get a little bit more crispy. So the pasta's finished, the mushrooms were just the last step. But y'all, this is so good. Oh, it's amazing. It's absolutely delicious. In this very last one, I think this might be the star of the show, maybe even the star of my channel. I'm not necessarily sure yet because it's my chickpea curry. And it is the bomb. Okay, if you don't make anything from this video, which you should at least make, so I'm sharing 6, at least make 6, right? No, I'm just kidding. At least make like 3 or 4. But this one has to be in the roster of meals that you make because it's so good. It has so many flavors, so many layers, like, and it's easy, Like, you can't beat that. When the food tastes good and it didn't require a ton of work, I don't know if it gets any better than that. So I had some canned chickpeas that I needed to use. So this night I decided to make a chickpea curry. Y'all, this is so good. I know that there are people probably watching this who did not realize that you can peel ginger using a spoon. So instead of grabbing a knife and trying to cut the skin off of the ginger, just grab a spoon and scrape it. It makes life so much easier. So right now I'm just cooking the vegetables in those spices. You kind of want them to brown a little bit and to even, like, you want the seasoning to even kind of like stick to the bottom of the skillet. Because once you add in the liquid and everything just comes together, listen, off the chain. Adding in some coconut milk and giving that a good mix. And then I'm also adding in some vegetable, well, what is it? Better Than Bouillon vegetable paste. And And we're gonna let this simmer for a little bit. You really want the liquid to start to cook down. And next we're gonna add in our leafy greens. I decided to add kale. Y'all know this is a kale stand account, so that's what I decided to go with, but you can also add in spinach. So I think I talked to y'all already in a previous video on how I batch cook my rice or quinoa on the weekend so that I have enough, whether it be for like a couple days or a few days or for the entire week, so I don't have to like stop and cook it every other day or so. And if you're on TikTok, you've seen a ton of people reheat rice this way. I did it once and it worked wonders, and I'm never gonna stop. Let's get into it. Y'all, this chickpea curry was off the chain. 10 out of 10 would recommend. And thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Again, I tried to pull the best of the best and the dinner ideas that I tend to go back to when I don't feel like creating something new. But I guess my question for y'all, so these are my go-to dinner ideas. What are your go-tos? Hook your sister up, because your girl needs some new ideas. So I would be very excited to try some of the meals that you all tend to go back to when you're cooking lunch or dinner. Leave it in the comment section. Let me know, because I may try it in a future video. I know I do owe y'all the desserts video. That is definitely coming. I've already recorded some of that content, so don't you worry. But that is all for this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. I hope it inspired you to get in the kitchen, to cook for yourself, to cook for your friends, to cook for your family. And with that being said, thank you so much, and I will see you next week.